If reading a paper often takes you 2 or 3 hours, the problem might not be your English. And it might not be that you're not trying hard enough either. You could just be reading papers in a way that's making things harder than they need to be. One thing I've noticed, especially among graduate students, is that a lot of us are afraid to skip around. It's easy to feel like if there's one section you don't understand, then you need to stop and figure it out before moving on. So we start from page 1, read everything in order, and end up spending 20 minutes trying to figure out a theory section or a statistical model. I used to do that too. But over time, I realized that when I'm exploring a topic or trying to build a literature review, my goal isn't to fully understand every paper. At least not at the beginning. What I'm really trying to figure out is whether this paper is worth a deeper read. And that's why I started using a very simple note-taking framework. Whenever I read a paper, I focus on 5 things. The first is the research question. What is this paper actually trying to answer? Because I've noticed that sometimes I can remember a lot of details from a paper, but if someone asks me what the paper is really about, I struggle to explain it clearly. And if I can't explain the research question, that's usually a sign that I haven't found the core argument yet. The second thing is the literature gap. Honestly, this is often the part I'm most interested in, because what makes a paper valuable isn't just what it does, it's what it adds. What does the author think previous studies have missed? What problem are they trying to solve? And why did they think this study was worth doing in the first place? The third thing is methodology. But at this stage, I don't go too deep into the technical details. I mainly want to know how the study was conducted. Was it based on interviews, surveys, experiments, or case studies? If the paper ends up being important for my own research, I can always come back and look at the details later. The fourth thing is the findings. What did they actually find? Did the results support their expectations? Was there anything surprising? And finally, reflections. This is probably the most important part of my notes. I usually ask myself questions like, do I find this argument convincing? What are the limitations? Would the conclusion still make sense in a different context? And is there anything here that I could build on in my own research? The nice thing about taking notes this way is that I rarely need to reread an entire paper later. Most of the time, I can just go back to those 5 points. And if I need a specific detail, I can always return to the original paper. For me, reading papers became much easier once I stopped treating it as information collection. Now it feels more like a process of filtering ideas, comparing arguments, and figuring out which conversations I want to join as a researcher.